The ninja choke is probably one of my favorite lapel chokes from side control, and the reason I like this choke so much is it's one where you don't put yourself out of position or at risk in case he's able to get out of it. So if you lose the choke at any point during the process, I'm able to pretty much just maintain my current position, or if anything, I can go north-south, I can come up in a mount, or I can literally just come all the way around to the other side. So you don't really lose position off this choke, which is one of the reasons why I like it. And if you set it up a specific way, it's also nice because you can prevent this person from even being able to see the choke coming until it actually hits. So when you're in the side control position, I like to utilize obviously my own lapel for this choke. But if I sit here and I just start opening this lapel, a lot of times these guys are going to see it, and either they're going to get their hands on your hand, they're going to start grip fighting, they're going to start shooting up with underhooks and turning into you, and they're immediately going to start defending it. So what I like to make sure that I'm doing is applying a lot of pressure here with my cross face, knowing that they're going to start pushing off my face, trying to frame. Now, once they start pushing off my face, this is usually my cue for me to start applying the ninja choke. So as I start putting this pressure, he starts pushing back. My cross face hand, I'm actually going to come all the way around and just drive my elbow back a little bit to put a little bit of pressure. And now I'm just simply just going to switch my hips. So again, I'm putting all my pressure across the top of his chest so that he can't move as easily. But now I'm at a point where he's also completely blinded from what I'm currently doing down here. So yes, they're still gonna be looking to fight you. They're still gonna be trying to push behind your head. Just keep your weight low. If anything, you can tuck your head a little bit. If they start trying to move their knees or bring their knees up again, you have your hands, so obviously I can easily just push those knees back across. But once you start setting up the choke from here, I'm gonna take my free hand now and literally just start undressing the skirt. If the lapel is already out, even better, but if not, pull your own skirt out and kind of just extend it a little bit to give yourself the extra slack. Now, he might start kind of realizing what you're doing, but again, if you do this quickly and subtly, they're gonna have no idea until the choke is actually put into place. So once you have this lapel out, you can start turning back into the person. Now, with the ninja choke, I do have to apply the lapel straight through the top of his arm to feed it to this other hand. So as I start turning back into him, what I'm going to do is now take this hand, come back to the cross face, and as I start bringing this hand to the cross face, I'm going to punch my hand through and hand it off to the cross face hand. Now, the reason that this works well and that they don't see it is because, again, I'm covering his face and eyes. He has no idea what's going on, and as I turn into him, I shoot the hand through and I catch it with the cross face hand. So now at this point, I've got the choke put into place. Now we just have to apply the pressure. Again, if these guys are still pushing off your face at this point, even better, because that is pretty much, you're just gonna use that pressure and allow your body to turn even more. But before we do that, the hand that does have the lapel, I wanna make sure that I start pulling back a little bit, so you'll start seeing his body start turning a little bit. Again, utilize that point. If he's pushing with your face, fine. Take your other hand now. I can either grab at the pants or grab at the hip, and I'm gonna start pushing and clearing the space. And pretty much I'm taking my head, putting it down to the mat on the opposite hip, come up on your toes, and as I start hipping in, I'm just gonna start pulling this hand through and to get the ninja choke. Now, another way that you may be able to hit this is if we're not able to turn and shift our hips, if we're in this position, maybe he's keeping this arm tucked and he's just keeping it tight, or let's just say that in the process of you bringing this lapel back, you're having issues with it. That's fine. If he's still putting this pressure here, you might just have to kind of work on clearing the space. So one thing that I'll do is actually scoop up the elbow a little bit, you know, put the little pressure, maybe feed your hand through, hook on the inside here, now feed it through, grab, and pull. And now again, I can still get the lapel put into place, turn, and we go ahead and we can apply the ninja choke. Now, I have seen some people do it this way. I don't really prefer this way because I do in fact like my teeth, but I have seen people that when they're in this position, knowing that this person's going to be fighting them with this hand, is once they actually get their lapel, they'll put it in their mouth. And now I'll turn it back into them. And we'll actually literally feed the lapel with our teeth so that you can utilize both hands to fight off this hand. Not my personal preference because I like having my teeth, but it is an option, so just understand that. But either which way, for me, the best way that I find doing this is putting a lot of pressure till they start pushing off on your face. And once they start pushing that pressure, switch your hips, put the pressure down across the chest, undress your lapel. As I turn back in, again, I'm punching this hand through the top of his arm and feeding it now to my cross face. Get the pressure on the lapel, start torquing it a little bit so they start turning. Opposite hand goes to the hip, and you get the ninja choke. Now, as I mentioned, if you lose that choke at any point in the process, if I get here and he starts defending it, or let's just say I can't turn into him, or maybe even if it slips between my fingers, I can literally stay here in side control, or even if we're in this process and I lost the grip, or he really just starts pressuring and hipping up into me, I can easily belly down and we start working north-south. Or like I said, we can easily come all the way around and take the other side.